Can-Am's XMR moniker garners a high level of respect. It signifies a vehicle that's extremely specialized and very capable in the mud, oftentimes at the expense of other types of riding. Which has never been a bad thing. Can-Am's lineup includes numerous models to suit any type of rider, so if the XMR isn't for you, something else will be. With that said, there are many who very much enjoy playing in the mud often, but also use their ATV or side-by-side to trail ride day to day. This has always been where the XMR's single-purpose design has shown its limitations. What's interesting is that my recommendation to anybody who fits in this, let's call it a subcategory, has always been to buy the XMR and then put less aggressive, more trailable tires on it. This is because most people who do plan to venture into the mud are going to add things like snorkels or winch anyway. The XMR already comes with that stuff pre-installed, so it's cheaper to buy the XMR and get more trailable tires than say get an XT and add all the extra XMR stuff. All of this is a long explanation for why the side-by-side we're testing today is so interesting. The Commander XMR is not designed to be a single-purpose, mud-only vehicle. It's designed for that customer who wants to ride in the mud but also wants to ride on the trail and work with their side-by-side as well. I've already done a full test ride on the standard Commander this season. If you missed it, it's on YouTube, so you can check it out there. So I'm not going to go over all the little details of what makes up a Commander. Today I'd like to focus more on what a Commander XMR is and what makes it special. So what do you get with the XMR over a standard Commander? Well, first of all, it only comes in this camo color. You also get an HD front bumper with high-mounted 4,500-pound Can-Am winch with synthetic cable, an excellent set of snorkels, full underbody skid plating, and fender extensions. The stuff you can't see includes a much stiffer set of springs and Can-Am's high-tech Smart-Lock multi-mode front differential system. You also get a set of new 30-inch XPS Swamp Force tires, which we'll talk about more in a bit. Now that we understand how Can-Am is positioning the XMR and what it's made of, we need to find out whether or not it actually makes a good part-time mud, part-time trail side-by-side. On the trail, the Commander XMR actually surprised me, or more specifically, the 30-inch XPS Swamp Force tires surprised me big time. For a tire as aggressive and gnarly looking as this one, its on-trail manners were excellent. It corners predictably with good bite, gets good traction when the trail's wet, and it rides smooth with no vibration common to most mud tires. It is a big, heavy 8-ply tire though, so the ride quality will be noticeably harsher than it would be with a trail-only tire, but in terms of compromise, it is not a huge one. With that said, the overall ride quality of the XMR on the trail is decidedly way too stiff. The XMR boasts 15 inches of ground clearance, 1.5 inches more than the XTP model, which also has 30-inch tires. I believe the way Can-Am achieved this extra ground clearance was with a stiff set of springs that reduces sag and keeps the vehicle sitting up high. The problem is that stiff springs mean a stiff ride. These basic, preload adjustable only shocks don't really help either. In my opinion, a high-end vehicle like the XMR should include a higher-end set of shocks. Luckily though, the ride quality can be improved by simply swapping out your springs with a set found on the XT Commander, which rides very well. So it's good on the trail, but what about in the mud? It is an XMR after all, so it better be good when things get dirty. When I first saw the Swamp Force tires, I was highly skeptical. They are anything but traditional mud tires. But it didn't take long to realize that these tires are excellent when it's deep, but this does come with one caveat. The mud has to be wet and soupy. When the mud is really sticky, these tires do clog up rather quickly, but when the mud is more chocolatey, they are very impressive. They can paddle through at slow speeds, or you can spin them up fast and roost through just about anything. Traction is equally as impressive in reverse if you get yourself too far in and need to back out. The extra ground clearance is definitely a bonus, as are these fender extensions, which work excellent. But this vehicle is also equipped with Can-Am's Smart-Lock system. And I gotta be honest, this was one area that actually surprised me. On the Maverick Sport XMR I tested, the smart lock system was amazing and did exactly what you'd expect it to. But here on the Commander XMR, I found the difference between trail and mud settings to be slight at best. The 4x4 settings did work good in the mud, but switching between them didn't seem to make much of a difference. What was impressive was the fully locking front and rear diffs though. I found myself leaving the Commander in 4x4 mud, then locking and unlocking the front and rear diffs manually when I needed them. This proved to be extremely effective, and when I tested the same method in 4x4 trail mode, it worked equally as well. This Commander has a few upgrades over a stock XMR that don't come standard, and I wanted to point them out. The tablet holder in the dash, and the link mounts and these storage boxes in the bed. So what do I think of the Commander XMR? My feelings are decidedly mixed on this one. I'm very impressed by the Swamp Force tires, and I'm impressed by how capable the Commander is in the mud. But the poor ride quality and underwhelming smart lock programming leave me questioning whether the XMR is the Commander to have. I can say this, if you're buying a Commander XMR as a do-all mud trail work vehicle, at least budget in a set of softer springs because they make a world of difference. If you're buying a Commander as a mud-only vehicle though, the XMR is definitely the one to have.